Go.
Not yet.
Go.
Hey everybody, we're going to go through how to take measurements for fitness tracking, and I wanted to give you guys a frame of reference so that when you're doing this at home, you're consistent. As long as the data points match every time you take, it's a good tracking method. If you're inconsistent the way you capture your data, it's going to be difficult to track any progress, okay? So Jen's going to help me. We're going to go through the major points for taping. Record these every time you take them. Don't wait till you're done. So as you go, we're going to record. We're going to start at the top and systematically just work our way down. That'll help you guys remember what we're looking for. So just for professionalism, always make sure that the client can see you, or if you guys are taping each other, always make sure the client has an idea as to where you're going to go. So I will let Jen know, hey, I'm going to do this part, then do this part. And that way she's aware of where I'm going to be. So I'm going to start with the neck. So eyes forward, just chin regular, not too high up. When you get the tape, for women, obviously we're not dealing with an Adam's apple. Okay, so once you get the measurement, go ahead and record it. For guys, we're gonna go below the Adam's apple. For women, you wanna try to make it as parallel to the ground as possible, okay? So once we have the neck, I'm gonna go to biceps. Since it's tape and not caliper, I'm gonna do both sides. So let's start on the left, so go ahead and make a bicep for me. Now, she can either do flexed or unflexed as long as it's consistent. So when I do them, I have people flex, and then I go for the highest peak of the bicep. There's my consistency. Instead of using a tape measure and a marker and putting lines, I'm just gonna go for the peak of the bicep. And again, I don't pull on the tape, so the tape's gonna casually lay, find my mark, and then go ahead and record it. Now I'm gonna go to the other side. Same thing, looking for a peak. Okay, so then record those. Now we've got the neck, biceps. Women, we're gonna do chest. Only on the women, we're gonna do the thinnest part of the waist. So I'm gonna start at the chest first. Now the consistent marker across the chest for men and women is I always go to the nipple line. So if you can still be mature about it, arms up. I have the client do the placement. So I come around to the front, she can still see me. She places the tape across the nipple line. Take a breath in, go ahead and exhale. On the exhale, when she settles, is where I take my tape. Okay, relax. All right, I'm gonna have you face that way. Now, when I do the smallest part of the waist, I'm gonna have her pull her shirt up. Just the smallest part. Yep. And I'm looking for the narrowest part of the waist. And again, I'm slightly in sight so she can see me. Reach around, take the tape. Now, after you do the waist, we're gonna go right above the belly button. So fold your pants down just a little bit. Sometimes the tighter clothes, particularly on the females when they're wearing the yoga pants, it forces the skin up a little bit and it can affect your reading. So we're on the umbilical now, so we're on the belly button. Again, I'm gonna have the client place it where it needs to go. And take my point. So now we've got the thinnest part of the waist for the ladies, belly button for men and women. Now, instead of doing hips they're a little difficult to track, especially if you've got someone with a little bit more body fat than somebody else, and that can skew off the readings if you're not consistent. Particularly if they lose a good amount of body fat, it's going to be hard to find that exact point for tracking. So for the waist, I have them do right around the rear end. So put your feet and knees together, and I go over the widest part of the butt. So I'm off to the side. So instead of staying up here by the hip bone, I'm going to come down to the widest part. Once I take the reading, record the reading, that's going to be for your hip marker. Go ahead and face forward again. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to capture the thighs and the calf, and then that's going to be it for what we're doing here. So go ahead and take a half step out. Same thing with the hips. I'm looking for the widest portion. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up, find the widest part of the leg. Now, whether or not it's flexed or relaxed, again, it's your preference. Just make sure it's consistent and make that note in your log. Client was flexed, client wasn't flexed, okay? So I'm gonna have Jen flex the quad. Okay, then I get my measurement. And again, I wanna make sure that I'm eye level and then I can see that this is the widest part of the quad. I do the left side. Okay, go ahead. Then I come over and do the right side. I have the left and right recorded. Now I only do the calf as a reference point. Most body fat metrics, or the tools that you find on the internet to calculate body fat based on tape, the calf isn't usually a factor, especially not for the military ones. I do this to make sure that I'm taking my tape as consistently as I was before. Find the widest part of the calf, and I annotate that. That number should be pretty consistent unless there's a good amount of body fat to lose. This number should almost always be the same. Then I'm gonna finish with a forearm and a wrist. And again, this is only for certain body fat calculators when you're using tape. Widest part of the forearm, then the narrowest part of the wrist. Military body fat calculations, they use those as well. So there's our points. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 checkpoints. Record the data if you need to, and if you're new to this, you can record each site 3 times your first time. So if I'm, for example, doing bicep, I would take it, find the peak, record it, come back, take it again, take the tape off, take it again. And if you're new to it, you might see some slight differences in the readings, which is okay, but that way you can come up with an average, and your consistency, you'll get better as you do this more often. So that's how you go ahead and take measurements with a tape, and good luck.